Satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good. Billy Ray feeling good, Lewis. I posted a chart of the E-mini S&P, and the one thing we know for sure is that cycle that we were looking at last week coming in that 39.20 area was 382 of the whole move from January 4th, and that was a beautiful ABCD pattern. And Gartley said in his book, when you get that first ABCD pattern in a bear market, take it, because he said that had the best probability of winning and the highest probability of getting out of the trade with a very large profit. So we did the statistics on it, and they work about 60% of the time. But boy, when they pay off 2, 3, or 4 to 1, as opposed to losing a small amount on your stop. Now, what's interesting today, and I wanted to follow through with this today. By the way, Tim Boston will be my guest at the break, but I wanted to give you an indication of what we're looking for here today, because we believe in these numbers, quite. Well, I guess it's almost. Trying to think of a real fancy word. Anyway, very, very strong belief in these ratios and stuff that we do. But if we look at what's happened so far on this 4-minute chart, you'll see that we have been trying to form an ABCD. Now, we went higher, of course. We got all the way up here to this level. We didn't quite get to this level. So that level here is also, this right here, is the 382 of the whole move from yesterday. So that's the number you want to watch. That comes in around 37.80, I believe. And if it gets much above that, then it'll tell you they're probably going to rally some more. But it's different than yesterday. People ask me, what do I do during the Fed time? You folks, if I told you what I did during Fed time, you wouldn't believe me. I turn off the computers right before they announce, and then I go and I watch something else on TV, usually Ancient Aliens or something like that, or a rerun of Frasier. I just won't pay any attention to it until after the Fed is done speaking, and then I come back and look. I have my trades in. I had my stops in. My stop was above that 39.20 level in the S&P. I think we hit 39.01, which is a 78% retracement of the high. If you can imagine that, and then going down like that. That's when I come back and look at what the prices are doing when he's finishing up his talk, which my time was around 12:20, and then I just wanted to see how it was responding to it. There are a couple things that I wanted to ask about. There was a thing on livestock, being in the export thing to China, and I wanted to know if that was relevant, and it wasn't. So it was just a very, very small amount. So that's what I do. I do not like to see those reports, especially when the Fed is out there. I might have orders in there, and I did. And I had an order in the gold. If those of you that followed me in the gold, that turned out to be a really, really good one. I'll get that up here so that we can all see it. Because what we did this morning, something that we don't do very often, and that is we sold the ABCD up at the top. You'll be able to see that in just a second. We sold the ABCD right up here. That was where we were 1668 was the number. We were selling it short. That was the ABCD. It went $3 higher and then broke all the way down. And you'll notice that when we got down to this level here, we not only covered our short at 1625, but we went long. And the reason why here again, just like the slot machine, if we buy it here, our stop has to be below the low that we made way back here, because we took out those lows. That triple low that we had, we took that out right at this spot here, and then we've had a pretty good rally. Now, I'm using this as a scalp. Maybe that is a major rally. I don't know, but I'm going to have to wait and find out. All I know is these were the things that I was watching to prepare myself for when the Fed was speaking, because by the time the Fed was done speaking, I had been filled in the gold, and it had already broken $11. It was down around 16.51, 52, and it just kept going lower. So that's what I do. Fact is, when I'm here, those of you that have been to my office here, I look at the machine probably every 15 minutes or so. In fact, I usually have it on mute or sleep or something like that, and then I flip it up and see what the prices are doing. So, and if it's really something that's given me a lot of stress or maybe too large a position, then I'll address that issue by just shutting everything else down, including the computer, and not looking at anything. Just leave your order in like you don't even know what's happening. And folks, I've had some big wins doing it that way, but the losses that I have, because the losses you can't change, well, you can, but you'd be stupid if you did. Hello, stupid. Johnny, put your hand down. Anyway, what that means is that you've got to be able to discipline yourself in some way so that you protect your backside. It's all about protection. You'll catch these big moves if you get some protection, and if you get that, then you're on your way. But the protection, folks, is a 9-inch cycle between your left ear and your right ear, and that makes it a really, really tough cycle to follow. So, okay, now let's take a look at a couple of other things that we were looking at here to see if they're going to come into fruition as far as this. Oh, here's what we really need to talk about this, because this was the key to the whole thing yesterday, going back to Woodward and Bernstein, follow the money. Well, shut the front door and raise the rent. I can't, let me see if I can do it this way. Yeah, I guess I can. Yep, okay, that's okay. Now, this is the chart of the U.S. dollar index. Actually, folks, the thing that happened the quickest, that unless you were following the currencies, you wouldn't have caught it, because the news came out, he was giving his talk, and he mentioned this, and he mentioned that. And as soon as he said he said a word, I can't even think of what it was, how it was interpreted, that immediately called the euro to jump to the upside by 100 pips. The pound had a really good run. Now, what we've done now, as you're looking at this right here, there's your A, B, C, D leg. That's what you're looking for. And that is a 1-3-5 pattern. That's not a 3 drive to a top, because the tops are lower, but it could be a 1-3-5 pattern. Now, if we get above here, that will change the story, but that has not happened as of yet. So that's what we're playing. And, we have a caller, and the caller is Larry from Wyoming. Larry, how are you?
Hey, how you doing? Larry, I got a cycle problem between my left and right ear. I'm hoping you can help, We'll see.
Been there, done that. So what's up, buddy?
Okay. All right, it's about the futures, natural gas. I mean, the monthly, you would agree that it did a 618. The weekly, you would agree it did a 786 retracement.
Yep.
And on the daily, it kind of came off with some strength from a bottom. And when I look at it, I say, what would Larry do? I don't have a clue what to do. Are you going to wait for like a 382? Well, it's already had on the 240-minute chart, it had an ABC up.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
It did a 382 retracement, or 50% even. What do you do now?
Okay, what I want to do now is pay a few bills. You stay with me, and I'll have a chart up there, and we'll take a look at it, okay?
Okay, thank you.
We'll be right back, folks.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstad's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstad breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, we're back, folks, with Larry from Wyoming, talking to Larry in Tucson. And Larry in Wyoming, I posted the chart into the den of the UNG, and I put a little red box around what's been happening over the last 2 weeks. Now, what I would be waiting for to see if this is going to be a pretty good move to the upside is one of two things. I'd like to see it pull back one more time and make a slightly lower low at around 17. It's trading at 1973 right now. The second thing that you could do for entry, if you get above 20, that would be the first place that I would think, yeah, you're probably getting ready to see. You've seen an ABCD to the sunny side, only you used it for work, which is nobody knows that except you, and that makes it easy to be a Uber driver and do work like this. So that's why trading is a great pastime for an Uber driver. So yeah. I hope this helps, but wait for the pattern here. There's not much.
Helps. I really appreciate. I can't tell you enough how much I learn off you. So I appreciate it.
That's good. I'm glad. Yeah, that's why I do this. But I like to hear things like that because I've been doing this for a long time and I'm far from perfect. But when I do get it right, it's usually pretty good. So this is one of those times it seems like it's working better than it was the other day. So that's a good thing. All right. I hope that helps, my friend.
I appreciate you. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you, Larry. You too. Okay, folks, back to the charts here. We've got a couple here that I think are important. We need to go across the pond for our daily trip to the DAX exchange and see the price of the, this is the German DAX. Get this up here 1 second so we'll be able to see it. Well, you see it had a big ABCD to the upside also, actually 2 of them. You had a double ABCD. There's your first one. There's your second one. There's your first one, there's your second one, and there's your final. So we went up here, and we didn't quite take the second high out here. So that could be a good thing because we've already backed off to the 38% level in the, I can't remember the, well, it's one of the charities in Santa Maria was doing it, and so I gave a charity, so they gave me a little ride in a Jeep and stuff to see some things we were looking at when we were here. But anyway, if you'll notice here, that double ABCD up there, it's very, very important. Now, we pulled back to the 382. Couldn't get any lower than that. That was right down around 37.05, I believe. taking out those old lows that we made a long time ago. But we've taken out major lows now at that 1620 and didn't go anywhere. And that's when I said it's time to cover the short and to go back in and go long. So that is, in fact, what we did. And it's actually, it's one of the few times that you're absolutely right on it. And that doesn't happen very often. But when it does, it certainly feels pretty good. That's for sure. So that's the main thing. And we'll just get this up here to show you what we're watching here in the gold, so you'll be able to see what we're doing, and that makes it easier you can understand what I'm doing there. When I explain these trades that I'm doing, you'll see here that in this gold, we sold this. This was the one into Fed time right here. That was the A, B, C, D pattern right there. And then down we came. When we got to this level right here at 1620, I suggested it's time to cover that and go short, because this is a good ABCD. It's just had the added stimulus of the Federal Reserve saying something. In that line, I was listening to the gentlemen that were on before me for Thinkorswim, and they were saying that there's algorithms out there. These algorithmic traders have things in their network. If they hear a keyword like to bankrupt or disengagement or something that's negative to the market, that triggers an instant sell, and they do that trade at that point. Now, it might only last for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, but they do that, and they watch to see how these foreign currency markets handle the earthquakes and stuff that you get in Southern California. And with these little shops shut down, they're a big supplier of chips, so you heaven knows what's going to happen. That's pretty much what we're looking at right here. Okay, all right, another caller called in about the U.S. dollar, and they asked me to put up the chart again, and I will be happy to do that because it was freshly made this morning. There we go. And we'll bring this up, and we'll talk about this just a tad more here. Hold on. Uh-oh, that's not good. I think it's okay. All righty, there we go. I think we got the chart up so everybody can see it. Folks, all we had, this is a daily. No, this is this is a daily chart. Last week, you can see we completed this A, B, C, D pattern right here, okay? So the reason why that's important is that move that we had from top to bottom is similar to the move that we had here, top to bottom, and then also here, top to bottom. Now, if they line up with a perfect ratio like we have on the 18th and 19th of August, then you've got a positive thing going, because if you miss that, at the time you were born, you're beginning right in the middle of an eclipse with no lotion on your body, so that would make you a crisp little critter if you had been out as a little infant with the temperatures this high. So they've got to be able to, get your risk down, and that's it. Folks, sometimes when I do this show, usually I'm wide awake, but boy, let me tell you, last night was very unusual for me. I watched the Phillies get beat with a no-hitter, but the difference is there were 3 pitchers that did the no-hitter, and it should be a rule that if it's not a no-hitter, it's got to be the same pitcher. That's not fair. I mean, these guys that have worked their Nolan Ryan and some of these guys, Koufax, he had 2 no-hitters and stuff like that, and to stop and think to get 27 outs in a game and no one gets a hit. Boy, that's a really strong feat to get through. There's no question about it. But anyway, getting back to the sleep factor. Well, I ended up sleeping 7 hours last night, and I woke up really late, and I was totally shocked. I said, I can't believe it. So by the time I did the work and everything, it's almost time for the show. So it kept me up. But boy, to sleep that long was really great. But boy, I'm not used to that. I'm usually up by 3 o'clock in the morning. I go to bed around 10, so I sleep about 5 hours. And then I take a nap in the afternoon. I usually take a nap for 45 minutes, and then that's it. Then I'm done until I get ready to hit the sack. Okay, getting back to this. This is where this dollar index is where the really excitement occurred. You see, it was still down a little bit, except when the report came out. Oh my goodness, everybody had to own the euro and own the pound, and it was the wrong thing to do, as usual. And this is where I saw this after the fact, but was able to do something in the euro. But the stocks were moving so fast you couldn't get your order in, fast enough, because I wanted to add to the position that we had for the 24/7, because it looked like it was going to be going a whole lot lower. But this has been what we say has lived in interesting times, to say. So we'll have to take a break here. Hopefully we'll be back with Tim Bost, 877-927-6648.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and unfortunately, it seems like Tim has some technical problems that I go through just about every day. And Tim, are you there? Nope. Still not able to get it hooked up. You know, he had a big water damage in the flood down there that they had in the hurricane. What was the name of it? Ian, whatever it was. I forget that last hurricane. But what he'll do is he'll get Hurricane Ian. That's what it was. Ian, that's right. Anyway, he had some serious water damage, and he was in the midst of a move, so that it was a double whammy, and that's affected his internet somewhat. And so he's not able to use Skype and some other things. So we're going to wait until he gets that fixed to have him on next week, because, we really had him scheduled for this because we've got such great volatility coming in, which he alluded to that fact, and he's still sticking with his prediction that we will take out that low, and that's it. So we're going to be watching that. Now, today, the low in the NASDAQ that we were talking about yesterday was exactly 2 standard deviations down from the mean, and I believe it was 1 standard deviation, went about 10 points below that in the S&P. So those are really key numbers on a short-term basis. That's it. It's going to be very interesting to see whether we can do that or not. And I think we have Tim on the phone right now. Is that you, Timothy?
You do indeed.
Well, at least you have
the weirdness of the technology today, we managed to connect. It's good.
Yeah, well, the fact that the phone is working is a real mystery, but your Skype is still out, I guess.
Yeah, Skype is not functioning for me for some reason today. I'm going to blame Microsoft, but we can do that for a lot of things, right?
I blame Microsoft for Windows. That's all Hey, listen, the question that I have is, how about we have you on? Let's see, Monday, Tuesday. How about we have you on next Thursday? Would that work out okay?
I'd be delighted to do that. We do have a lunar eclipse coming up on Tuesday. I'd hope to talk about a little bit.
Yeah,
so
let's talk about that.
And also, we can look at that and see.
Please talk about that now, and then also talk to us about the election. If you see anything that
absolutely.
Pops up.
So let me just review a couple of quick facts here. We got together a couple of weeks ago, right before the solar eclipse. That was 2 weeks ago. And indicated then that we expected to see a little bit of a bullish bias in the S&P, following that, leading up into this lunar eclipse that we have coming up next week. And so far we've seen about a 1.5% hike in the S&P since then. So, nothing to write home about, but still that bullish bias seems to be accurate. What's going on is on Tuesday of next week, on the 8th of November, and in some parts of the world it'll still be late on the 7th, but we do have a lunar eclipse kicking in, and that's going to be visible for most of the Western Hemisphere, as well as in Australia. If you're in the western part of the U.S., California, Oregon, you can watch it all from beginning to end. Eastern half of the country, you'll still be able to see most of it, and likewise throughout Eastern Asia and Australia. And so it's going to be a spectacular event. It's a total lunar eclipse. It is a full moon, blood moon, so we'll have this reddish effect for about 80, 85 minutes, something like that. And that's a great time if you're interested in seeing the dark sky around the moon. You can see some shooting stars and things like that, depending on the clarity of the local weather of where you are. But there are a couple of things we want to be aware of with this. One is the fact that on the 8th, we also have our Sun-Mercury superior conjunction. And that's the end of the Mercury retrograde cycle that we had, starting back in September, and this is the last hurrah of that. So it's a particularly potent point when the Sun and the Mercury get together for that superior conjunction, same day as the lunar eclipse. And of course, Tuesday, the 8th of November, is election day in the U.S. And so what we're looking at are lots of very typical eclipse reactions. We want to remember, of course, that all lunar eclipses are also full moons, and those are times of particular tension in general, but especially with lunar eclipses, and especially with this one, we have lots of things that indicate extremes of personal tension, political tension. There are some potential here for violent confrontations. And one of the big keynotes here is a lack of patience, a lack of perspective. People want things to get resolved fast, and let's take this out in the parking lot and settle it, kind of stuff. And so that's not a very pleasant atmosphere to be in, but it's also a major challenge in terms of election processes, because it does take time to actually count votes, and when there aren't results instantly, then people are likely to get more frustrated as a result of that. However, we're also seeing some big trading opportunities coming out of this lunar eclipse. And it's interesting because if we look at lunar eclipses in general and their impact on the S&P, there tends to be a downturn in the S&P for about 7 days following the lunar eclipse. But this is a lunar eclipse with the sun in Scorpio, and that behaves in a little different way. There's a period of potential price consolidation kicking in for almost 2 weeks after that. And I believe it gives us some short-term trading opportunities as a result of that. So we're going to be keeping an eye on, the S&P. Also, gold looks like it has some good potential here as well. We're doing a webinar tomorrow evening on all the details associated with this. So if folks want to connect with us, we can make sure that you get the information on the webinar. But it's fascinating research, and we've identified some strong trading opportunities coming out of this. So even though we can see a lot of challenges in terms of the politics and the general social environment, and a little bit of potential ruffle to the markets here, I think that we're coming out of this with some positive opportunities as well.
Okay, Tim, I have a couple of questions. You talked about Sun-Mercury conjunction. That's combust, isn't it? Like T.G. Butani talked about it as combust?
Right. Yeah, we have that combust period of when the Sun and Mercury get together. Any planet that conjoins the Sun, there's that little orb around it that it kind of burns up as it gets close to the Sun. But also then there's a very refined degree area, less than half a degree of a conjunction. When it's almost exact, there's a phenomenon called cazimi, which is the planet being at the heart of the Sun, and it kind of provides an extra sense of protection for that planet, and ends up, the combust period can be very, very treacherous to work with, but then right at that time of that alignment, then we get this cazimi period. It lasts pretty briefly because Mercury moves pretty rapidly, with this, but we'll see all of that going on. So that retrograde, that superior conjunction will take place at 11:43 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll go back to standard time then. It won't be daylight time. But shortly before noon will be the exact timing of that. So we're going to be watching the markets in particular with that event. The lunar eclipse will occur earlier that morning.
Tim, thank you very much, and we'll see you on the 10th, I believe.
Okay, see you a week from today. Take care.
Thanks, buddy. I hope everything works out. Let me know if anything we can do for you.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. You bet. We'll be right back, folks. 877-927-6648.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Okay, folks, we were talking about the NASDAQ before being down 2 standard deviations. I wanted to bring this up to show you because this is super important, folks, because of things we've covered in that Floor Trader's Handbook, regards to when these option traders have to give up. And as you can see here, we went through the first standard deviation like it didn't even exist. That's where we made a new high in the Dow Jones by about 10 points, making a 3 drive to a top pattern. All this was a 61% retracement to the tick. And then boom, down we came, and we stopped at the 2 standard deviations, folks. I know there's 2 hours to go, but if we close below that, when it goes between 2 and 3 standard deviations, that's known as panic time in the bond market, or any market, because if you go beyond 3 standard deviations, you're talking about a bell-shaped curve, way out here. And you're in the 87th percentile, and yet that curve can keep you, in the market on the wrong side for a long time, because we've seen this happen in Treasury bonds. Look at the yields. We were trading at some ridiculous number at 0.5% or something, and now we're up around 4.5. So that's something. Mortgages have gone from 2.3 to 6 or 7 or 8. One of our friends here in Tucson was quoted 7%, but it was a very large home, and he was putting a substantial down, but he couldn't get a rate any lower, than 70 cents. So he ended up just buying it for cash because his cash isn't making any money. So that's pretty much what you're doing when you're watching this. But those standard deviations are really important for the option players, folks, because if you go beyond 1 standard deviation, no big deal. 2 standard deviations, no big deal. 3 standard deviations, anything below 2, that means if you make a new low in the NASDAQ, then look out. This is going to be a heck of a Friday coming in. It'll be a down week. Well, we don't know where the market's going to be today or tomorrow, but it should be a down week. And down week and a Friday means the market's not going to be, closed or not going to be open for business for all the bulls. Are going to be able to take a break and not see much volume here on Friday just to see if it can hold 2 standard deviations. But if we go below that in the NASDAQ, which has been the weakest, it's been the leader all the time, we go below the lows we made today, that means that 2nd standard deviation failed. And oh my goodness, that's where the option players have to really come in and cover their positions, and that's it. What I mean, if you let's say you bought a call, well, somebody sold you that call, right? And up until yesterday, he had a pretty good profit in it, and all of a sudden, the premium's gone and everything, and now he's underwater, and you've got a big profit. So your problem is, do I take the profit or hold the position? He's got to worry about his backside because he's at unlimited risk with that option that he sold. They have unlimited risk. That's why they make such a good payout, but that's 1 in 25 where you get the market goes crazy. They have to cover, because other than that, he'll go under faster than boom like that. In the 1987 crash, folks, the next day, that following Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, those 4 days, on the bulletin board at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, there were more seats for sale than ever before in the history of the exchange. That's how many guys went under and had to use their seats for collateral. And so they were selling their seats to get collateral to trade so they get back in the game. And believe me, that process went very fast. Those seats disappeared, and then in a matter of about 4 or 5 weeks, they were back on their way, to where they're trading now, which is way out there in La La Land, near where Dorothy and Toto and the Tin Man live, because they've gone through the roof as far as the value of what you're looking at here. Okay, now we've talked about that dollar index, how important it is, and I wanted to bring to your attention, just going back to the E-mini today. So let me get this up here, and I will talk about this just a couple of more minutes, because I have to tell you what I think is important. Whether it is or not, probably not, but at least it's, for me, from my standpoint, it is important. Okay, now here is the action today. As you can see here, we came down quite sharply. There was our first standard deviation right down here at 37.20. The low was 37.04. Now, I've already outlined the ABCD in this, coming in at 37.77. Okay, that's the 382 of the range that we made back here the other day. You see, that's what you're watching as you're watching that. Okay, so I hope that gives you some idea of what we're looking at when we're watching these things, because it's important. But there's no chart that is more important than this next one, and that is what the yields have been doing. And this is where the money flows, short term. For all these things that we buy. Get this up here. They have to give you an interest rate. But look at this. We were down here in the 2 area just a few weeks ago, folks. Look where we are now. We hit 5.12. And we're still trading. I checked it just a little while ago. We're still trading just a tad below at 4.9 right now. I mean, this tells you that interest rates are flat out going to go higher, and that's what Powell said in his speech. He said, "Don't expect anything mitigating about this." And that's when the word pops out like mitigating, and they have it hooked up to the computer. There's certain words that when they put it in the context of the sentence, it immediately triggers a sell or a buy signal, and that's when you get these wild swings. They could be bullish, and then they hear the word mitigating, and then they hear the word, non-compliance or whatever it happens to be, and boom, the market turns on a dime, and they all follow along, because they're all doing the same darn thing, folks. That's why when these things start, they start pretty strongly, because most people say, well, they screwed this one up. I can get on board the other side and make some money. So that's why it's important. So I hope that helps, because I know I say that I don't follow the fundamentals, and flat I don't, but I follow price action. And I know that if that price is going up, there's more buyers. Price is going down, there's more sellers, and that's flat. All you need to know is that, because once you got that in your armamentarium, you are in business, because you have a controllable pattern that is right better than 65% of the time, and the payoff averages 3 to 5 to 1 or better. So that's why it is so very, very important to have that strategy on your hand. And as I do these things, you have to be able to, because I can only be here for an hour a day. I send out the videos and emails and stuff, but you've got to be able to decide, how much money can I risk? Do I see this pattern clearly? Now, when I send the things out on the videos, I describe what the pattern is doing. I did that in the S&P yesterday, and I did it with the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones was the easiest, because that thing had hit and already dropped, so it was just having a heck of a rally back. But it went all the way back up and made 3 drives to a top by just a little bit. Check your chart. You'll be able to see it. I happen to be in the S&P, but the one to be in was the NASDAQ, because it was the weakest. You can see it in that standard deviation chart. It hasn't even bounced at all yet today. And the others are trying, but they're not able to do it. So That's what we're looking at here. So I hope that things will help. If you have any questions, it's 877-927-6648. I'll also be setting in for Tom O'Brien today at 3 p.m. New York time to go over stock market review, and I'll be doing some stocks that have interest in some of the folks, and those will be done too. That'll be in about an hour after I finish here. So let's get back to the last segment, and we'll talk about what's coming up. 877-927-6648.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I wanted to put up the chart that I think has the most significance today, and that is the chart of the E-mini S&P, because that number that we hit up there on Sunday night, and then it's just 382 that we're seeing right here is nothing more than a perfect A, B, C, D. It took 3 weeks to complete. And not only was it a 382 exactly 50% off of the high that we made back here, it was most to the tick, exactly 382 of the high that we made back on January 4th. H.M. Gartley said in his book, Profits in the Market, Stock Market, 1937, on page 222, he said, wait for the first ABCD correction in any bear market and sell that correction, or in the bull market, buy that ABCD. So this is a sell ABCD into a bear market because it has something going for you as far as you're trading in the direction of the longer term trend, i.e. down. Okay, you're selling into a beautiful ABCD pattern to the upside. That's another part of that. That's also perfect ABCD. So everything is there. Now, do they work all the time? No, they don't, but they work most of the time. And I'll tell you, if you stick with ABCD, you won't have any trouble with me, as the poet once said. I was a poet and once know it, but I make it rhyme every time. Anyway, we're going to be looking as our guest tomorrow as Jeff Huge of Alpha Insights, one of the super bears out there, and he's been right pretty much all along here, so he's going to be our guest. Next week, we have Norm Winsky. We're going to have Stan Harley, and we're also going to have Tim Bost do a repeat of the things that he was looking at today. So those are the things that we're watching. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless. And remember to do something nice for your neighbors, folks, because all of them are having trouble. Not all of them, but many of them are, especially the elderly. And it's always a good thing to, pass it on. And it makes it much, much better, because you can't take it with you. You got to remember that. But all you need sometime is a good ear. People just want to tell you what's wrong. They're not asking for handouts. They just want someone to listen to what's going on. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless. I'll see you folks on the flip side tomorrow, and we'll see you.